Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
Cheers. You are now watching Create a Steady Hustle with Likquidcash.
There's a lot of things that I learned in 2024. It's a lot of things that I've noticed, and I know y'all notice. I noticed that the people that we thought had power are powerless. You know, a lot of celebrities was being called out, exposed, so to speak. And there's a lot of things been going on. We noticing that all the celebrities, the black celebrities that we thought had great influence are being the butt of every joke. And the vast majority of the people, the black community, to be Pacific, is kind of acting like how the Romans did when they was watching the gladiators fight in that octagon back in the Roman times. I just watched the movie The Gladiator, right? And that kind of made me think about what's going on right now, because there was a general in that particular movie that was winning all the wars, and for some reason he ended up becoming a slave, and they put him inside the octagon to fight for his life, basically. And all the people that was once praising him and glorifying him for being one of the most feared generals, or the most celebrated generals, the most decorated generals. He was once loved and praised by the people. In the moment that he was cast away and labeled a slave, they all was cheering for his downfall. And because of his skills and his talent being a fighter, he was able to fight and survive. But the Roman people of that time was cheering on for the demise of all the people that he fought, and also was cheering on for the demise of him. But eventually he swayed their hearts and was able to have them cheer on for him and have them to be on his side. But my point in saying all of this is they was fiending for blood. They wanted to see blood. And they was all cheering on the destruction of this great general. Now, when 2024, I noticed that now we are doing the same thing. Not me per se, but I noticed that the people are doing the same thing in 2024. They cheering on the demise of other people. You know, regardless of what they did or what's going on, but we looking for blood. We looking for someone to fail. We're campaigning that agenda. We watching things happen right before our eyes, and we campaigning and we cheering that on. We praising that, the destruction of other people. I'm not calling names. I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong. It's not my business, because I don't deal with gossip. I don't deal with trending topics. I just talk about things that are dear to me and I feel that need to be addressed. And I think in the black community, this has to be addressed, because we are watching things happen before our eyes and we're blinded to what's really going on. It's like we're asleep and we're sleeping giants, because we're greater than that. You know what I mean? We're greater than that. We're sleeping giants. We watching the demise and the destruction of black celebrities, black leaders. You know, we don't even have black leaders no more, to be quite frank. We haven't heard from Al Sharpton since God knows when. And we all know he ate the apple a long time ago. So we don't really look at him as a black leader, so to speak. We watching the black celebrities be taken down one by one. for whatever reason. It's not my business. I don't get involved. But like I said, the thing that we need to stop doing is being in other people's business. Mind the business that pays you. Like I said again, we promoting the demise of other people, and we don't even know the full story. We don't know what's really going on, and we cheering it on. It's like we looking for blood. We looking for somebody to fall. We looking for destruction. We trying to take down our own. Whether there's an agenda or not, we're feeding into it. We're promoting the demise of other people. What you put out is what you get back. That's why I don't talk about trending topics or speak down on other people, because it's not my business to talk about what's going on in other people's life. We gotta wake up and understand that the niggas that you thought had power ain't got no power. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. Everything that you see going on is all smoke and mirrors. And we gotta wake up from this slumber. We gotta wake up from this sleep. As black people, we gotta wake up from this sleep. We are helping the demise of other black people that are going through trials and tribulations. We cannot be accomplice to the buffoonery. When you start to play games with clowns, you become a part of the circus. You dig? That's why I never comment on what's going on. I know people say, man, you got the mic, you got the attention. Why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about that? I don't talk about people's business because it ain't my business. In 2025, I'm encouraging y'all to mind your business. Mind the business that pays you. You feel me? And too much of us are getting a mic, sitting in the front of a camera and talking about other black people in a negative way. I don't know when that's been cool. Who made that cool? Who made that a part of the normal day? Like, I don't get it. That's why on my podcast, I talk about a lot of different things. Either it's going to be motivational, it's going to be inspirational, it's going to be informative, and it's going to be impactful. I can't just sit down and talk about entertainers all day. I can't sit down and talk about women all day. That's just not how my life is set up. That's not reality. Nobody wakes up as a grown-ass man and make their main focus to talk about celebrities and what they got going on in their daily life. That means you ain't got no business of your own. If you can sit down and talk about women all goddamn day and what they doing and what they not doing, that means you ain't got no life of your own. That's why on my podcast, you might hear I'm talking about the streets. I'm talking about life lessons. I'm talking about metaphysics. I'm talking about how to raise your DNA vibration. I'm talking about how to overcome trials and tribulations. And sometimes I give y'all that bullshit where I talk about relationships. And sometimes I entertain it just a little bit, not too much, but just enough to be informative, to give you some knowledge that can help you along the way in your day-to-day relationship. But I don't deal with the gossip and the buffoonery. You understand? So that's what I'm trying to say. We can't be entertaining the circus shit that's going on the internet. We too grown for that. We got too much potential. We got too much more to say. We got too much more to give to the world. There's more in us than just sitting down, getting on a mic in front of a camera and talking about celebrities or other people in a negative way. Now, if you're going to talk about somebody, talk about the good things they did and try to push that narrative. Try to push the positive and the things that you could learn from them overcoming the trials and tribulations and the things that they went through in their life. They say a wise man would learn from a fool, but a fool would never learn from a wise man. See, you don't have to bump your head. You can learn from other people's mistake. For too long, we've been playing the victim role. But we've been seeing from the 60s to the 70s to the 50s to the 80s to the 90s, we've been in a fucking circus. We've seen people from the 50s in the music industry, in the entertainment industry get jerked. We've seen people in the 70s get jerked. We've seen people in the 80s get jerked. We've seen people in the 90s get jerked. And here we are in the 2000s, the 20th century, and motherfuckers are still signing contracts and getting jerked. It's like we not learning from nobody's mistake. How we see all of that happen and we still come up today and do the same motherfucking thing. It kind of reminds me of when I see people on drugs. Like, you didn't just witness the crack epidemic. You didn't see what happened to the black folks when crack hit the market and hit the streets. Like, you didn't learn your lesson. Like, you didn't just watch your mother, your aunt, your uncle, your sister, your brother overdose or just got strung out on drugs. And here you are indulging in the same thing in 2025. This shit don't make no sense to me. I can't understand this. Cause I had people in my life that was on drugs, that died from drugs, that was a victim to the crack epidemic. And that made me realize, okay, stay away from drugs. That's something I ain't playing with. That's a game that I'm not gonna fuck with. I'm not gonna try drugs. I'm not gonna do drugs. I'm not gonna be a victim of drugs because I know what it does to the brain. And here we are, 2025, and people are still doing the same thing cats was doing in the 80s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 50s. It's like we not learning nothing. We tearing each other down. We are sleeping giants, man. We're giants. This skin, this melanin right here, this is your superpower. This is your superpower. This is what they don't want you to know. That this is your superpower. We're sleeping giants. We're asleep. And not till we wake up from this slumber, we won't be able to change nothing. But we got to collectively wake up from this slumber. It can't just be one person. Now, it's good when it's one person because that person could trickle on to someone else and teach someone else and inspire someone else. But it has to be a collective of us that come together and form like Voltron and tap into that super power. Because we got the power. We're sleeping giants. We got to wake up from this slumber. We can't be tearing each other down. 2025, we got to lift each other up. All that tearing each other down bullshit, that's for the birds. That's for clowns. That's not for niggas that's trying to change things and really make a difference. The kids are watching. The young adults are watching. And we falling victim to this bullshit. You understand where I'm coming from? I'm not trying to preach to y'all because I ain't no preacher. I just got a mic in front of me and I want to say some things that's going to spark the mind of the young adult that's coming up that could potentially help change the world. I might not be here. It might not be in my lifetime. You dig? Because we really asleep. As black people, as the culture, we really asleep. We move culture. We shape culture. We are the culture. We got to wake up. I got to repeat that because a lot of y'all niggas out there are sleeping. And we're sleeping giants and we falling victim every fucking day. We wake up and we feed into the bullshit, the gossip, tearing down each other. Anytime you put out a negative energy, man, that's coming back to you. You could be the next person. You could be the next person. I'm not different than you. I'm not holier than thou. I just don't entertain fuckery. I don't entertain bullshit. If it's not pushing me forward, if it's not helping someone else to move forward, then what's the purpose? What are you doing it for?
They say the sins of the father will be passed on. I'ma spend every dollar till the cash gone. Hope they remember my name once I pass on. I'ma leave you some jewels you can latch on.